Ever get that feeling like you're just kind of on autopilot?
Yeah.
Going through the motions,
Mhm.
you're following the rules, but something just feels off.
Well, what's so fascinating is that off feeling, that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It can actually be the first sign of like a really profound awakening.
Mm.
It's like the little tiny crack
Yeah.
in this facade of like our everyday reality.
Mm.
It's hinting that there's something more,
Okay.
something deeper,
Okay.
waiting to be discovered.
So it's not just me.
Right.
There are really people who experience this.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me more about this. Like, when you say awakening, what does that actually mean?
Like, imagine realizing that a lot of the things that you've been like chasing after,
Yeah.
like success, approval, all the material possessions,
Mhm.
they're actually like distractions.
Okay.
And they're keeping you from connecting with your true purpose. It's
Hmm.
like waking up from a dream
Okay.
and realizing you've been living somebody else's script.
Whoa. Okay, so that's unsettling a little bit.
Right,
So if we're not living our own script, then whose script are we living?
right.
And what happens when we start to question that?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
As you start to like question all the rules of the game,
Yeah.
you inevitably start to feel like you're an outsider. And things that used to matter,
Yeah.
like fitting in or following the crowd,
Yeah?
they suddenly lose their appeal.
Okay.
You're just not interested anymore.
So you're saying that this awakening can actually lead to feeling more isolated,
Mm-hmm.
even lonely?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't sound very appealing.
It can be tough at first. I mean,
Okay.
relationships that were built on the old you,
Mm-hmm.
they might start to fade away.
Right.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
This isolation actually becomes like a really powerful catalyst for growth.
Mm.
It creates this space for you to connect with your true self,
Okay.
free from all the influence of, other people's expectations.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this works.
Yeah.
It's like shedding a skin that no longer fits,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly. What about the people around us? How do they react when we start to change like this?
Well, not always. Well, I'm afraid
Right.
your transformation can actually become like a mirror,
Okay.
reflecting all their own fears, their
Yeah.
own insecurities. They might accuse you of being different,
Mm-hmm.
arrogant,
Yeah.
or even losing your mind.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's harsh.
It can be.
So it's like our awakening can actually trigger their own unresolved issues.
Exactly.
Wow.
They might make all these snide comments,
Right.
dismiss your growth as a phase,
Mm-hmm.
try to pull you back into those old patterns.
Okay.
It's their way of resisting change, both in themselves and in the world around them.
This is all starting to sound like a psychological thriller a little bit.
Yeah,
But if we push through the fear
right.
and the judgment, what happens next?
This is where we enter the realm of the death of the self. Oh,
It sounds really dramatic,
yeah.
but it's essentially like dismantling everything you thought you knew about yourself.
Okay.
All those labels, the
Ah.
roles,
Yeah,
the masks you've been wearing,
right.
they all just start to crumble away.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
So if we're letting go of all those old identities,
Right.
who are we left with?
Right.
What emerges from this death?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's a journey of discovery that's totally unique to each individual.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can tell you is that what emerges is something way more authentic,
Okay.
way more powerful,
Mm-hmm.
and way more aligned with your true purpose than anything you could have imagined before.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Right.
It's a rebirth,
right.
reimagining of who you are and what you're capable of.
Yeah.
But this transformation doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Right.
It impacts like your relationships,
Mhm.
your work,
Yeah.
even your perception of like reality itself.
You mentioned reality shifting. Can you elaborate on that a little
Sure.
bit? Like, what actually changes?
Okay, so think of it like this.
Okay.
You're suddenly aware of the stage set.
Hmm.
You see like all these societal expectations, you see cultural norms,
Yeah.
even the ways that we're conditioned to like interact with each other
Yeah.
as more like a performance
Yeah.
than a genuine connection.
So it's like realizing that the pursuit of status symbols,
Mm,
the obsession with fitting in,
yeah.
it's all just an act.
It is.
We're playing roles we didn't even audition for.
Exactly. And that realization can be both liberating and terrifying.
Yeah. How so?
Liberating because you're no longer bound by those rules.
Okay.
Terrifying because the world suddenly feels less solid, less predictable.
And what about the people who haven't had this awakening?
Right.
How do we relate to them when we're seeing the world so differently?
It's a common challenge.
Yeah.
You might find yourself like getting frustrated with small talk,
Okay.
feeling impatient with people who seem stuck in their old patterns.
Yeah.
Or even like withdrawing from social situations altogether.
So how do we bridge that gap?
Right.
Can we help others awaken?
That's a good question.
Or is it something they have to discover on their own?
It's kind of a delicate dance.
Okay.
You can't force anyone to awaken,
Right.
but you can be like a living example of what's possible.
Okay.
You can embody your authenticity, speak your truth,
Yeah.
create ripples of awareness simply by being yourself.
It sounds like this awakening also comes with like a heightened sense of urgency.
Yes,
Like suddenly we're aware of the preciousness of time and the need to make every moment count.
You're tapping into something really profound there.
Okay.
It's not just about being productive.
Right.
It's about aligning your actions with your purpose,
Okay.
making choices that resonate with your soul.
So maybe you quit that soul-crushing job.
Right.
Finally write that novel you've been dreaming of.
Exactly.
Or prioritize spending time with people who truly light you up.
Precisely. And this sense of purpose often goes hand in hand with a deeper capacity for empathy.
Okay.
You start to feel the emotions of others more intensely,
Yeah.
which can be both a gift and a challenge.
So you're more sensitive to the energy around you.
Yeah.
But you also need to learn how to protect yourself
Right.
from getting overwhelmed.
Exactly. It's like you've become like this finely tuned instrument, picking up on the subtle vibrations of the human experience.
Okay.
But you also need to develop strategies for self-care,
Right.
for grounding your energy, for setting like healthy boundaries.
This is all starting to sound like a superpower in disguise.
It is in a way.
But it's also clear that this awakening comes with a lot of responsibility.
You're right. It's not just about personal growth.
Oh.
It's about using this newfound awareness to make a positive impact on the world.
Okay.
You become a disruptor, a catalyst for change,
Yeah.
challenging all these outdated systems and beliefs that no longer serve humanity.
So we're not just shedding our old selves.
Right.
We're also shedding those old paradigms that have been holding us back as a society.
That's the beauty of this process.
Yeah.
It's not just about individual transformation.
Okay.
It's about collective evolution.
Okay.
And it all starts with each of us taking responsibility for our own awakening.
Okay. So we're becoming more aware,
Yeah.
more purposeful, more empathetic,
Right.
and even more disruptive.
Yeah.
But what about our relationships? How does this awakening change the way we connect with others?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's an area where a lot of people experience significant shifts.
Okay.
You start to see through all those superficial connections,
Yeah.
craving authenticity and depth in your relationships.
So those friendships that are built on convenience or obligation,
Yeah.
they might start to fade away.
They might-
While those deeper, more soul-nourishing connections emerge.
Exactly. You're drawn to people who resonate with your truth,
Okay.
who see you for who you truly are, and who support your evolution.
Yeah.
And you're also way more willing to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you,
Okay.
even if it means facing some discomfort or disapproval.
That takes courage,
It does.
but it also sounds incredibly liberating.
is.
So we're letting go of relationships that drain us,
Right.
attracting those that nourish us,
Yeah.
and stepping into this new level of authenticity in all our interactions.
You got it. And this transformation even affects our sleep.
Really?
You might find yourself waking up in the middle of the night with all these profound insights,
Okay.
feeling this constant buzz of energy, or having these vivid dreams that offer guidance and direction.
It's like our consciousness is expanding,
It is.
and it doesn't always follow like a conventional schedule.
Exactly. You might need to adjust your sleep patterns,
Right.
find new ways to relax and de-stress.
Or incorporate practices like journaling or meditation
Yeah.
to help process all the information and energy that's flooding your system.
This is a lot to take in,
It is.
but it also feels incredibly hopeful.
It is hopeful.
It's like we're being called to step into
Mm-hmm.
a more expansive,
Yeah.
more authentic, more purpose-driven version of ourselves.
That's the essence of it.
Yeah.
And as you continue on this journey,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find that the desire for authenticity just becomes all-consuming.
Okay.
You just can't tolerate superficiality or pretense anymore.
Right.
You crave genuine connection,
Yeah.
meaningful conversations,
Yeah.
and experiences that nourish your soul.
So you're saying we become more discerning about how we spend our time,
Absolutely.
our energy,
Yeah.
and even who we allow into our inner circle.
Absolutely. And you're also more willing to, like, express your truth,
Okay.
even if it means rocking the boat or challenging the status quo.
You no longer feel the need to fit in or conform to expectations that don't align with your values.
It sounds like we're becoming more comfortable with the idea of being an outsider,
Right.
embracing our uniqueness,
Right.
even if it means facing some resistance or misunderstanding.
You're hitting the nail on the head.
Okay.
And as you embrace this outsider role,
Mm-hmm.
you might find yourself attracting both kindred spirits and those who are threatened by your transformation.
So there's this magnetic pull happening,
Yeah.
attracting those who resonate with our energy
Mm-hmm.
and repelling those who don't.
Exactly. And this is where discernment becomes crucial.
Okay.
You learn to recognize the difference between those who support your growth and those who try to dim your light.
Right.
You learn to protect your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you.
This is all starting to paint a picture of a very different way of being in the world.
It is.
It's not just about changing ourselves.
Right.
It's about changing the world around us.
That's a powerful insight.
Yeah.
And it brings us to one of the most profound aspects of this whole awakening.
Right.
The realization that you're not just an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You're part of something much larger.
Yeah.
Something interconnected.
Yeah.
Something that transcends the boundaries of our physical selves.
So you're talking about a sense of oneness,
Yeah,
a feeling of connection to something beyond our individual ego.
precisely. And as you tap into this sense of oneness,
Okay.
you start to see the world with new eyes.
Mm.
You recognize the interconnectedness of all things.
Right.
You understand that your actions have a ripple effect, impacting not just your own life, but the lives of others.
This is starting to feel like a spiritual awakening as much as a personal one.
It is.
We're not just changing ourselves. We're contributing to a larger shift in consciousness.
You're spot on. And as you continue on this path, you might even start to question the nature of reality itself.
Whoa.
You might begin to explore concepts like non-duality, the illusion of separation, the interconnectedness of all things.
Wow. This is really getting deep.
It is.
But I have to admit, it's also incredibly exciting.
It is.
It feels like we're on the verge of something truly transformative, both for ourselves and for the world.
It is exciting. It's like stepping through a doorway into this whole new way of experiencing life.
Yeah.
But as we venture deeper into this uncharted territory,
Right.
it's natural to encounter some bumps along the way.
Yeah.
One of the biggest hurdles that people face, I think, is the fear of letting go
Oh,
of the old familiar self.
that makes sense. It's like stepping off a cliff without knowing if there's a safety net below.
Right.
We're letting go of who we thought we were,
Yeah.
but we don't yet fully know who we're becoming.
Exactly. And that uncertainty can be really unsettling for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of wired,
Right.
for comfort and predictability.
Yeah.
So venturing into the unknown can trigger all sorts of anxieties and doubts.
So how do we overcome that fear?
Yeah.
How do we find the courage to keep moving forward, even when we're not sure what lies ahead?
Well, one of the most powerful tools that we have at our disposal is intuition.
Okay.
It's that inner voice, that gut feeling
Mm-hmm.
that often speaks to us in whispers and nudges.
Right.
Learning to trust our intuition is so essential
Yeah.
for navigating the uncertainties of this journey.
But sometimes it's hard to distinguish between our intuition and our fears.
Yeah.
How do we know if we're listening to our inner wisdom
Right.
or just getting caught up in our anxieties?
That's where discernment comes in.
Okay.
It's a skill that develops over time as we practice paying attention to our inner landscape.
Okay.
Notice how your body feels when you're making a decision. Are you feeling expansive and energized
Okay.
or constricted and drained?
Right.
those physical sensations can offer you really valuable clues about whether you're on the right track.
So we need to tune in to both our mental and physical cues. It's not just about what we're thinking, but also how we're feeling in our bodies.
Exactly. And as we become more attuned to our inner guidance system,
Yeah.
we'll start to notice synchronicities, signs in the external world as well.
Okay.
It's like the universe is conspiring to support us,
Or
sending us messages,
Yeah.
opportunities that align with our soul's purpose.
It's like we're being guided by an invisible hand, nudged in the right direction, even when we can't see the whole path laid out before us.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And as we learn to trust this guidance,
Right.
we start to experience this really profound sense of peace
Okay.
and surrender. We realize that we don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to control every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
We can just relax into the flow,
Okay.
trusting that we're exactly where we need to be.
And that surrender can be incredibly liberating.
It can.
It's like releasing the weight of the world from our shoulders, allowing ourselves to be carried by something larger than ourselves.
It is. And as we open ourselves to this flow,
Yeah.
we start to attract experiences,
Okay.
relationships, and opportunities that are in alignment with our highest good.
So the more we trust, the more we surrender,
Yeah,
the more we align with our true selves,
right.
the more magical life becomes.
That's a beautiful way to sum it up.
Yeah.
And as we embrace this new way of being, it's natural to want to share it with the world.
Right.
We want to help others awaken to their own potential,
Yeah.
to create this ripple effect of love,
Yeah.
healing, and transformation.
But you mentioned earlier that we can't force anyone to awaken.
Right.
So how do we walk that fine line between sharing our truth and respecting others' journeys?
It's about leading by example,
Okay.
embodying the qualities that you want to see in the world,
Right.
speaking your truth with compassion and clarity,
Mm-hmm.
holding space for others to explore their own paths without judgment or expectation.
So it's less about preaching
Yeah,
and more about being a living, breathing example of what's possible.
precisely. And remember,
Yeah.
even the smallest acts of kindness, compassion, and authenticity,
Yeah.
they can have a really profound impact.
Right.
You never know whose life you might be touching,
Yeah.
whose heart you might be opening.
That's a beautiful reminder.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of awakening,
Right.
what's one final piece of advice you would offer to our listeners who are feeling called to embark on this journey?
I would say trust the whispers of your soul. Follow the nudges of your heart. Don't be afraid to question,
Yeah.
to explore, to challenge the status quo.
Right.
Embrace the unknown with courage and curiosity.
Okay.
And remember, you are never alone.
Okay.
There's this vast network of support that's available to you, both in the seen and unseen realms.
Beautifully said. And I would add, be gentle with yourself along the way.
Yeah.
This journey is not a race.
Right.
It's a process of unfolding, of
Mhm.
remembering who you truly are.
Yeah,
Celebrate your victories.
absolutely.
Learn from your challenges.
Yeah.
And never stop exploring the infinite depths of your being.
Well said.
Okay.
And on that note,
Yeah.
we'll bring this deep dive to a close.
Okay.
We hope this conversation has sparked a flame within you,
Yeah.
igniting a desire to explore all the boundless possibilities that lie ahead.
Right.
Until next time,
Okay.
keep seeking, keep growing, and keep shining your light brightly in the world.
Have you ever gotten this feeling like some people are just,
They're different. Different.
yeah, like not just quirky or whatever, but like they're holding back
Holding back what?
power, like some incredible power or destiny. It's almost too big to grasp right now.
It is a captivating thought, isn't it? It's like there's a plan, a strategy at play.
Right. Like they're being prepped, for something huge.
Yeah.
But everyone else is, well, clueless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real power doesn't have to be loud.
It's more like a quiet storm brewing.
Yes, exactly. That's a great way to put it. And this idea that they're choosing to be humble.
So it's not just about being modest, right?
No, it's strategic. It's about staying under the radar, avoiding attention, maybe even envy or sabotage.
While they're still developing, getting ready.
Precisely. And think about all the struggles they go through, the setbacks, the challenges.
What if those aren't random?
What if those are the things that forge them, that make them stronger, like able to handle whatever their purpose turns out to be?
Okay, see, this is where it gets really interesting. Have you noticed how sometimes these people, they can be a little intimidating?
Intimidating.
Yeah, and they're not even doing it on purpose. It's like they have this aura.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, true confidence, that inner strength, it can be a lot for some people, especially if they're insecure.
Oh, so it's like a natural filter.
Exactly. It attracts the right people and repels the ones who can't handle it.
So it's not that they're pushing people away, it's just who they are.
Right. And then have you noticed how some people just seem to see through things? Like the illusions.
Like they're seeing a deeper level of reality.
Yes. It's like imagine everyone's playing checkers, but they're playing chess.
Whoa. So they understand everyone's motivations. They see all the things that other people just completely miss.
Exactly.
But why stay silent? If you have all this wisdom, shouldn't you share it?
But sometimes silence is a form of protection.
Protection.
Think about it. What if those profound truths would be dangerous to those who aren't ready? Sometimes it's best to wait.
I guess timing is everything.
It really is. And speaking of timing, what about those destinies that are so huge, most people can't even grasp them?
Okay, yeah, like their purpose is just on a whole other scale. It's like we need time to even wrap our heads around it.
Right. It's almost like their potential needs to be protected until the world is ready for it.
Shielded or incubated.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. And what about those people who seem to have a level of enlightenment?
Yeah, that one's wild.
Their understanding is so advanced that it could actually be dangerous.
What if people would freak out?
Or try to silence them? It's almost like the world has to catch up.
To evolve?
Exactly.
Wow, so we've covered humility, struggles, intimidation, seeing through illusions, and even destinies that are just mind-blowing.
And we're just getting started. This is really just scratching the surface of hidden potential. So back to this idea of hidden potential, it really makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. Like last time, we were talking about those people who just seem to have this greatness inside them. And it made me think about silence.
Silence?
Yeah, like how it plays into all of this.
Silence. So often misunderstood.
Right. Like we think the loud ones, the ones always looking for attention, those are the powerful ones.
Exactly. But what if it's the opposite?
You mean the ones who know when to be quiet? Those are the strong ones.
Maybe. Think about it. Silence can be a really powerful tool, especially in a world that's just so full of noise.
Yeah, it's like still waters run deep, right?
Mm.
Maybe the ones comfortable with silence actually know the most.
It's possible. And that silence, it helps you cut through all the distractions. It lets you focus.
Right, conserve your energy. See what's actually important.
Exactly.
But, okay, if you're deliberately trying to, like, lay low, how do you avoid getting mixed up with the wrong people?
Yes. This is where the idea of repelling fake people comes in.
Okay, so you're not saying build walls or judge everyone.
No, it's more about having a sense and intuition. You just know who's genuine and who isn't.
Like a built-in radar for authenticity.
Exactly. And I think, the truly authentic people, they find each other.
They gravitate together.
Yes. And the ones who are just pretending they don't vibrate on the same frequency.
It's like they can sense something's off.
Exactly.
Okay, so I get that these people might have incredible potential, this big purpose waiting for them. But why wait? If they could change the world right now, why not just do it?
This is where the idea of time-bound gifts comes in.
Time-bound.
Yeah, like what if some gifts, some abilities, they're meant to be activated at a specific time under the right circumstances, like it's not time yet.
Oh, okay. It's like bloom where you're planted, right. But there's this cosmic element to it.
There's a divine timing, making sure that everything's ready.
The person, the world, everything has to line up.
Exactly. And that waiting period, it's crucial. It's a time for refinement, for integrating everything.
And it makes you think about all the tough times people go through, the setbacks.
What if those are actually important, part of the process?
Like those are the things that actually help us grow Become who we're supposed to be.
It's a different way of looking at it, isn't it? Not failures, but opportunities.
I like that.
Me too.
Okay, so if these people really are meant for great things, why would they need protection? What could possibly threaten them?
Well, you have to remember, true power, true greatness, it shakes things up.
It disrupts the status quo.
Exactly. It challenges the way things are. And the people who benefit from those systems, they might not be so happy about it.
So there might be forces out there trying to stop them.
Maybe. And that protection could come in lots of forms. Maybe it's people looking out for them, maybe it's just luck, or maybe it's something deeper, some kind of inner knowing.
Like a cosmic safety net.
Yes, exactly. And it all ties back into this idea of isolation. We usually think of it as a bad thing.
But maybe for these people, it's actually good. Necessary even.
It could be a chance to go inward, to connect with that inner wisdom, to block out all the distraction.
Like building a fortress of resilience.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And it reminds us that it's a balance, right? Solitude and connection, inner work, and what you put out into the world.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
This is blowing my mind. So how these people even know when it's time, when they're ready to come out and share their gifts?
That's a question we're going to explore in the last part of our deep dive. But for now, think about this. Maybe there's a perfect time for everything.
Wow. This idea of hidden potential. It's been a wild ride. Like all these people operating on a different level.
It really makes you rethink things, doesn't it?
Totally. It's like they're in training for something huge.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think about yourself. Like, what about my potential? How do we even tap into that?
That is the question, isn't it? There's
Yeah.
no easy answer. But I do think there are things we can do, things to help us unlock those gifts, that purpose.
So it's not about waiting for something to happen to us.
No. It's about actively working towards it, nurturing it.
Oh, okay.
Well, first, you got to know yourself. Pay attention to your thoughts, your feelings. What are your strengths? What are you naturally drawn to? What lights you up?
So, like, take stock of your inner world.
Exactly. Once you really know yourself, then you can start setting the stage for growth, putting yourself in situations that challenge you.
So get uncomfortable.
Well, yeah. Push those boundaries, step outside that comfort zone. That's how you learn and grow.
And you got to be okay with things not being perfect.
Oh, absolutely. Growth isn't a straight line. You'll have setbacks, moments of doubt.
Failures.
Yeah, exactly. But those are the moments that really shape you, that make you stronger.
It's like that idea we talked about, right? Struggles as refinement.
Exactly. It's a different way of looking at things. Those tough times, they're not punishments. They're actually opportunities.
To become who you're meant to be.
Right.
But even when you embrace the challenges and understand yourself, it's still kind of overwhelming, right? Like, where do you even start with all this potential?
Well, I think it comes down to purpose, finding your why.
Oh, okay, the big why.
Yeah. What are you passionate about? What do you care deeply about? What mark do you want to leave on the world?
So it's not like we're born knowing our purpose.
Not necessarily. It's more like we uncover it through experiences, trying new things, figuring out what brings you joy.
So it evolves as you evolve.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be something huge, saving the world or anything. It could be something small, something that matters to you.
Like being a good friend or taking care of your family.
Exactly. As long as it feels meaningful, as long as it resonates with who you are at your core.
Okay, so we've got self-awareness, embracing the tough stuff, finding our purpose. Anything else?
One more thing. Surround yourself with the right people.
Your tribe?
Yeah, people who believe in you, who push you to be your best. People who see your potential even when you don't.
It's like they hold up a mirror, reflecting back all the good stuff.
Exactly. And remember, it's a two-way street. You support them, they support you.
Wow, this has been incredible. I'm leaving with so much to think about, so much hope.
Me too. Remember, you've got something special inside you. Everyone does. Embrace it, nurture it, and never stop exploring. You never know what you might discover.